We're back.
Yeah,
Different capacity this go around, but we here.
it's been like 8 years. It's been 84 years.
Yeah, it's been way too long.
It's been six
Yeah,
years.
yeah,
um,
yeah. Way too long, buddy.
Hello, dear brother.
Hello, brother. Yeah, the story with Magic the Gathering and us, it's very interconnected. And so
Yeah.
can't talk about one without including the other
Oh yeah,
with
I agree.
everything. So it's
That
like,
is absolutely the truth.
yeah.
Yes.
And plus also too, it's like, there are some unique aspects to both of our stories in regards to Magic the Gathering that, you
Yep.
know, I might not remember correctly that you do, or might remember things a little bit differently. So it just helps to have both sides.
So where did we want to start?
Well, I know basically it just started with high school and our games club, our junior year, I think. I know more
Yeah,
senior.
junior year. Yes, because junior year more leading into senior year because you were in track. I was in tutoring,
Hmm.
and so there'd be days that when it wasn't track season, and you had to wait on me for tutoring. I remember you going to games club because it was somewhere to be
Hmm.
and not just bored.
Yeah.
So I remember you would go out to the science lab that it was in, and you would hang out with some of our friends, just play games and stuff like that. And yeah, after a while, like I remember you guys started with Catan and some other board games,
Hmm.
and then one of our friends started playing Magic.
Hmm.
So then we got introduced to Magic, and it was, hey, Yu-Gi-Oh is a thing. That's
That's cute. Here's a
yeah,
real
that's cute.
game.
That's how I remember it started.
I do remember a couple of times we did bring our Yu-Gi-Oh decks and just beat each other up until someone in the
Oh
games
my
club
god, yeah.
until someone in the games club was like, "Hey, how about you play something different and not just do this?"
Nah, I gotcha. And it kind of just went from there,
Yeah.
where we got introduced to Magic, and you and I shared in that journey when we played some games with our friends. We didn't know what we were doing. We were just kind of told what to do.
Yeah.
Here's a pile of cardboard. Have fun.
Yep. And so it just went
Um,
from there. I know the biggest
yeah.
impetus for getting us into it was that senior trip
Oh
to
yeah.
Boston.
Oh yeah. The Boston trip. That was very interesting.
Yep.
It was senior year 2012. I remember by that point it was you, me, and our friend John Kelly, the one that got us into Magic.
Hmm.
And we happened to be at a shop. It was a three-story shop, I remember.
That whole
I think it was
shopping center was huge.
I think it was called Hef or Neff. It was one of those things. I remember the mascot. But I remember it was like this like pop culture skate shop thing, and they had Magic the Gathering just on a shelf, and we're just like, we want that stuff, please.
Hmm.
And I could be remembering wrong, but I remember it was the three of us got bundles. There was back in the day there were fat packs
Yep. R.I.P. Fat
of
Packs.
Dark Ascension because that was the hottest set at the time.
Yep, because it was in between the set released for Dark Ascension and Avacyn Restored.
Yeah, Avacyn Restored had just started going through spoiler season when that happened. Yeah, but yeah, that's how that went. And you and I went from there. We had fat packs, cracked the packs, built some rather bad decks from what I remember.
Yeah, all things
I, I,
considered.
I remember you had, because this is how I always remember it. I don't remember what I played.
Hmm.
I don't remember what John played.
Nope.
But I always remember you playing Geist of Saint Traft and
Yep.
equipping Elbrus the Binding Blade to it.
Yep. Which
That is like one of the first memories I always remember.
same, because that was both a lore win, and I didn't know that at the time, and it helped me win the game.
It literally just worked.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the bigger thing with that though is just I tried looking into it and I couldn't remember how the hell I got Geist because he was in Innistrad and Elbrus was in Dark Ascension.
Yeah.
And in everything I looked at, there were no Innistrad boosters in those fat packs. So I don't know
And it,
how. So I don't know
yeah.
how I got Geist.
And it's not like you had it's not like they pulled the Gate Crash thing or the Dragon's Mace thing where they had loose cards from Innistrad in Dark Ascension. They didn't do that.
Yeah, because like I said, I looked up the product information and everything, and unless we somehow got packs of Innistrad too,
I
I don't know.
don't remember.
I don't remember either.
I legit don't remember ever buying Innistrad. I remember Dark Ascension.
Yeah,
I remember the core set 2012.
I also remember Avacyn Restored too.
In a few months' time, that's how I remember you and I got addicted to this cardboard crack, was going through that stuff. Because the next memories I always remember was playing at Games Club more. And then I remember one night, you and I hung out with John,
Mhm.
and that's when we bought the 2012 set. And we had the minivan at the time, and we sat there,
Mm-hmm.
and we had bought a booster box.
Yeah.
You know, with the money we were supposed to have for food and stuff
Yeah.
for the weekend. We used it on Magic cards.
Yeah.
But that's one of those fond memories I'll always have, though, because I always remember it as the night that I pulled
Yep. I remember that.
one of my first foils.
Yep.
Was this foil Day of Judgment.
Yep.
And that was always that's always going to be a memory for me, was cracking those packs in the back of the minivan under, like, next to no lighting
Yeah.
at, like, 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
It was just something to do.
Yep. It was.
I remember it going from there. We started playing a little bit more.
Yep.
I really hated Slivers, and then I really, really hated the Eldrazi.
Yeah. Because kind of we skipped Return to Ravnica, Gate Crash, Maze's End?
Yeah. Maces and yeah, we skipped those.
We
'cause it
skipped the
was-
Ravnica block because
Yeah,
that
we
was
skipped-
because that was
yeah,
by that was the time we got to summer to go into college and we're focusing on
Yeah.
that. And
Yeah.
then took a little mini break during the fall semester, but then the spring semester, our freshman year, we were like meeting friends and everything, and we kind of got wound up in the gaming corner in the student center. And so by that point in juncture, we're like, all right, let's go find somewhere to go play Magic.
'cause I remember it as we skipped Ravnica block, we skipped Theros, and we came back in Tarkir.
Yep, we did. We did.
Because it was Avacyn Restored was 2012. 2013. We also missed Magic 2013.
Mm-hmm.
I remember we got the dual deck Izzet versus Golgari.
Yep.
And the Naya versus Nicol Bolas versus a Johnny. I remember that one too.
Yep. Because I remember the Boros Ajani.
Yeah, I still have that one.
Nice. A Johnny Vengeance, if I remember correctly.
Yes, with the alternate art. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we missed Theros. We missed Ravnica. We missed Theros, and then
Which-
we came back during cons.
Which kind of sucks that we missed Ravnica, considering Return to Ravnica is one of my all-time favorite sets.
We didn't know.
Yeah.
We came back in Tarkir.
Yep.
Really fell back in love with it.
Oh, yeah, especially with cons, and then
Yeah,
Fate
Cons-
Reforged pre-release
Like,
really did it.
yeah. Fate Reforged was dropping that like when we came back. Yeah,
Because I remember we went to pre-release and I pulled Ugin.
you did.
That was dope. That's another memory I have, was we went to the local comic shop that was in the town that our university was at, and we had a pre-release, and like, I forget, maybe like 12 people showed up.
It was something like that.
It wasn't too bad of a release, but yeah, it was like,
It was fun. It was fun.
I pulled Ugin. I think it was like my third pack for the draft. And I'm like, oh,
Fate Reforged came out.
Mm-hmm.
Then you and I got back into contact with our friend John,
Mm-hmm.
and then John kind of took us under his wing again of being like, all right, you two need to start taking this game more seriously instead of just mashing cardboard together.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay. You and I and John went down to your hobby place, the
Yeah.
local game store that we have. And I remember you, John, and I were wanting to buy cards. But then John was like, hey, I want you guys to start thinking about getting into more constructed formats.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay. I already told him like off the bat, I'm like, whatever they do with like the most recent cards at the time, because I didn't know it was standard at the time. I'm like, whatever's in current rotation for cards, I already can tell I don't want to do that.
Same.
And John also said, yeah, don't do it. Even the card shop owner, I always remember, was like, yeah, don't get into standard if you're wanting to. You're in college, you're young, you don't have a lot of money. Don't get into standard. That's like the worst decision you can do. So
Yeah.
it was like a group effort where we had a collaborative thing of, hey, can we build my friend some decks? And then John, I remember, was explaining to us Burn, Tron. I think Twin was still very hot back
Twin
then.
was still a thing because that was 2013-ish, going into 2014 for Modern and everything.
Birthing Pod, I still remember, was way popular.
Yeah. And I also considered Titan, but then Summer Bloom got banned. And John had even said, don't consider Titan.
But I remember it as you and I were talking about different decks. I remember bringing up 8-Rack,
Mm-hmm.
and John's like, why the fuck would you ever play 8-Rack? I'm like, because it looks cool. And he's just like, no. And then I remember he asked us, what do we want to do? And I'm like,
I remember that.
I remember that, and I remember I was leaning more towards Burn because I was really just wanting to do simple stuff at the time.
Yeah.
And then you went full fucking bore
Yep.
and built Tron. John just opened up a bag, pulled out a small deck box, and said, here.
Yep. Gave me Tron.
He gave you Tron basically under the premise of
Keep playing.
play it, play it, play it. I
Yep.
always remember that.
Yep. I always remember that too.
The generosity and the community collectiveness of it, I always remember that from that moment because I remember John and the shop owner was helping us build our decks basically.
Yep.
And I remember I only had to spend like 20 actual dollars or something like that on my burn deck at the day. Back in the day.
Yeah, I had to spend slightly more, but
because you played Tron.
Yeah.
But I remember that. And then John showed us how to deal with like net decking and like what to do with like keeping up on strategies and stuff like that. And then we just started cramming games in.
Yeah.
And it kind of went from there. Modern led us to getting into more competitive scenes.
Yep, especially in the meta.
Especially at that time.
Yeah.
And you and I started building up confidence, and then we started going to the shops, and we actually started playing games.
Yeah.
We were doing it mostly for the fun of it, just because we were wanting to get experience and wanting to do stuff.
Yeah.
But
then we got to the more competitive edge of things. After a little while, we're like, all right, we need to take this more seriously based on the shop we were going to.
Oh my god, yes. That became a thing.
Yeah.
And so then you and I, through suggestion, because of these people, they were nice. Again, the community, to say it colloquially, the gathering of people came together and helped us become stronger players that way. Through deck building and helping us like make suggestions to help tweak decks, because it's like we're all in competition, but we also all want to do good and not just take a free win.
Yeah, I remember a lot of different talks after some matches, especially if there was like particularly grindy matchups that we would have, and just talk about, sideboard options or how a certain deck fares against another and stuff like that, and just see how to better combat different strategies over time, as well as also just learn and progress in knowing how to deal with certain situations when they come up with certain matchups.
Oh yeah. I remember that. and then you and I started getting more into finding our niche
Mm-hmm.
on things. I really dug into Burn.
Yes, you did.
You really dug into Tron. After a while, I did start building other decks.
Mm-hmm.
Not good decks, but I remember them.
Same.
And
Same.
then,
Like
yeah,
like any time I've made mill so far until, the last modern Horizon set that really helped push it over the top.
yeah.
Early mill sucked ass in modern.
It was rough. It was rough going for a
It
while.
was
Yeah,
rough,
I
but
remember
I
that.
got hooked.
You did. You definitely fell for it. And then in my case, I remember it was 2015, 2016. I remember that was when I also discovered Tolarian Community College in Wedge
Yep.
from the Mana Source.
Yep.
And I started religiously watching their videos because they had great content
Mm-hmm.
and they had a lot of insight into the game and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I always remember Prof's video for Mono Green Elves being one of my favorite things because that was like, I like green.
Yeah. I
Uh,
also just remember his
yeah.
sleeves video just because we were wanting to better take care of our cards, especially with the investment at the time too for us. So we
Oh,
were
yeah,
both just
like the
like,
double sleeving and stuff like that. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay, so here's the funniest thing. Do you want to guess the first video I ever saw from the professor was?
I'm gonna go with something not magic related.
Oh, it was magic related, all right. You remember? Okay, to set the scene, do you remember liking a lot of magic stuff on Facebook back in the day?
Yep.
Like think back like 8, 9 years ago.
Yep. I
And do you
remember.
remember getting spammed with like a lot of sponsored products and stuff like that
Yep.
for like magic loot crates and shit like that?
Yeah.
One of them was a advertised thing that had the professor's stamp of approval.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember looking at this being like, who the fuck is this guy?
Mm-hmm.
Being like, I'm gonna dress up nice and I'm gonna support this product.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I remember seeing that so much.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, okay, who the fuck are you? But now having met the man and having watched his videos for how many years now, Prof, I love you because your content is amazing.
Yeah.
And you're a really nice and humble guy.
Yep.
You're really nice and really sweet. You've done a lot for the community, and congrats on 1,000,000 subs.
Oh yeah.
But I remember that was the first video by the professor that I ever watched. Was one of his old product reviews for this magic service that is no longer around.
Mm-hmm.
And then that went from there, where it was the cardboard sleeve review, the sleeve reviews,
Mm-hmm.
binder reviews, and then some of his earliest deck techs, like the 8-rack video and the Mono Red Burn and the Soul Sisters.
Yep. I remember.
Yeah,
I remember the burn video.
that one always sticks out in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, back to Magic. On the proper topic that we were talking about on our journey through Magic.
Yeah.
So this puts us about, what, 2015, 2016, you said?
Roughly, yeah.
2016, we really started experimenting with different deck types and started getting a little more competitive because then we started dragging our friends into it. And
Yeah.
then got
Yeah.
the ball rolling on getting a gathering of friends together to play Magic. And then we all started getting a little competitive, a lot competitive, to be quite honest. And I remember a couple of our friends being like, hey, can we do something else to break up this hyper competitiveness? And we're like, sure. And then one of our friends, I think it was Jordan, our friend Jordan,
Yeah.
brought up playing Commander. And we're like, what's Commander? And then that's how we got introduced to the wonderful world of Elder Dragon Highlander.
Yep.
So I remember seeing the professor's videos on some of it, but I didn't pay attention.
It went over my head.
Yeah, it went over my head. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, that's neat. I'm probably never gonna play that, but it's neat. I tried a commander deck. I don't remember what I tried, but then I remember looking at some of the cards and being like, oh, this looks neat.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I bought the Derevi deck from back in the day.
Derevi, yeah.
I still have some of the cards.
I think you still had the Derevi too.
I do. Somewhere, but I have them.
Yeah.
And
Isn't
I
he in your
remember
Falco Sparrow deck?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, he's not.
Okay.
But then I remember also building. I remember looking and building a Rafik of the Many.
Rafika the Money. I remember.
Mm. What's up?
So correct me if I'm wrong, but
Yeah.
was Teferi Mage of Zalfir my first deck, or was it Crest the Blood Braided?
It was.
I know it was either one of them. I just can't remember.
Personally, I remember that day being like, you're building a commander, and I remember barging into your room and being like, what do you want to do? And you're like, well, I like blue. And I'm like, we're doing this.
Yep.
So then I remember you and I spent a night literally just going through your boxes and your binders trying to find cards that were blue
Yep.
and building a deck. And I was like, okay, well, who do you want for the commander? And you're like, I got this Teferi. And I'm like, he's kind of gross.
Yeah.
Who else do you got? And you're like, I got this Sun Quan here I'm not using. And I'm like,
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about Sun Quan.
it's like, okay.
Yeah, because we had got from the
Sure.
Vault Legends.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So you had Sun Quan horse, a very bad Sun Quan deck for a while.
Yeah.
Because I always remember Jordan being like, James, for the love of God, change it out for Teferi. But also,
If
as
you
your
want to
friend,
keep
don't play Teferi.
Yep, I remember, yep.
There was that.
Yeah.
Then you tried Crush for a moment, took it apart. I think it became another deck.
I can't remember.
And then I remember I had Rafik for a while, but I was bad with Voltron back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to be fair, I'm still bad with most combat-related commander decks.
Mm-hmm. I hate to ask this.
Yeah, what up?
How did I come about Skittles? Because I don't remember.
I remember you said, hey, I'm going to do a very silly thing. And I'm like, how silly? And you're like, I found this YouTube video on this Skitherix the Blight Dragon deck. I'm like, okay. And I remember you and I watched it.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, I really want to do it. I'm like, okay. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Seems a little gross. But sure.
Yeah.
And it just kind of went from there. That was, I want to say, a little after you graduated.
I think so.
Yeah. It was somewhere around there. And then I remember around that time, I also took apart Rafik.
Mm-hmm.
Tried another deck. I don't even remember who the commander was. And then I remember...
I can't remember either, dude. It may have been...
Who else? Because I always remember Rafik, Time Skip,
Yeah.
Queen Marchesa.
I
That's how I remember it as.
I think you may have had another deck that had blue-white in it, but I can't remember the third Keller.
Do you remember the big blue-white angel from back in the day?
I don't remember the name, but I can see the card.
But I always remember that being my next deck because I always remember it had Daxos and Meletis in it.
Oh,
'Cause
that...
he was kind of,
Yeah, I
he was kind
remember
of
that.
Secret. He was kind of the secret second dude
Yeah.
for that deck. It was not Asparia. Not
Well, you're looking that up. I know something I remember very fondly was my very dumbass interaction that I made with a Johnny Mentor of Heroes in Doubling Season.
I remember the game you gained 300 life and still lost, yeah.
Yep, because that was it. That was the entire game plan of the deck, and I had nothing else.
You had 300 life and a dream.
Yo. Yeah.
Bruna, Light of Alabaster.
Oh,
was my
that
next-
one.
Yeah.
Man, that
Had
took a
fun
second.
With that one. Had fun with that one for a while, I'm not going to lie.
I remember that deck now.
That one was fun. I had fun with Bruna. Not everyone else had fun with Bruna, but I
Nope.
had fun with Bruna.
Nope.
That's what counted.
Yup.
So now I remember my path for commander was nothing, then Rafik, then Bruna,
Yeah.
then Queen Marchesa, and then I also got, I have them right here, Kineos and Tiro of Meletis.
Oh, that one. I remember that one.
Yeah, the couple.
Yep.
Group Hug. That's when I found the wonderful world of politicking and group hug.
Yep.
AKA Drago, AKA
Lie your ass off.
No,
Pass it on your ass, yeah.
pass it on my ass, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. And then Queen Marchesa went through a few iterations. I took apart the group hug deck.
I
Yeah,
remember our very first actual real big tournament was SEG Baltimore.
2017, yeah, right?
Yep, because I remember I was a dummy. I didn't bring Red Green Tron. I instead
No,
used what was the new hotness, Mono Red Prison, because thanks MTG
yeah,
Goldfish.
you did that. I was on Zoo.
Yep, I remember you were. I vividly at least remember my very first opponent. It was someone who was maybe probably like 2 or 3 years younger than us at the time, which I think we were like 2021 by that point in juncture.
James, we were 21 in like 2014.
Okay, correction, like 25.
Yeah,
Something
James,
like. Anyway, age doesn't matter.
time is a circle. But yeah,
Anyways, I remember my opponent. They were
yeah,
slightly younger than me,
yep.
and the first game I don't actually no, the first game I do remember because this is where the interaction took place. I got
Mhm.
turn I think it was turn 2. I was able to stick Blood Moon, and they were
Yep.
like, "I should just concede now, but I'm
Mhm.
gonna play this out."
I mean, play their outs.
And they proceeded to kick my butt.
I
And
mean,
we
yeah.
wound up going in 3. And they told me after the match, it was like, "Yeah, that was pretty bad for me if I didn't play that out." Because he drew into what he needed to for the matchup.
Yep.
But at the time, he was like, "No, no, 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 no."
I mean, back in the day on that one, Blood Moon was a hard block for a lot of decks.
Oh, yeah. Your story about Death Shadow.
I remember that was the first deck I played that day. I kind of knew what to expect, but I hadn't seen it before. So seeing it in person, I'm like, okay, that's kind of neat.
Hmm.
Kind of annoying, but kind of neat.
Yeah.
And then I remember they won the first game. I remember I won the second game. And then they won the third game, and I'm like, okay. And then I remember two most interesting decks I remember that day were Ponza. That was the first day I ever played against Land Destruction.
Hmm.
And then I remember also playing against. Oh god, The Rock was a very rough matchup for me.
Oh, yeah.
I played against The Rock, and then right after that, the next matchup was I thought I was going to play against The Rock, but no. Fuck me, it's Ad Nauseum.
Can you remember when I built Death Shadow?
Which shitty version?
The the version that I had Monastery Swiftspear in it and various other spells. It was like uber aggro.
That was around the time. That was roughly around 2017, 2018. Why?
Okay, I just couldn't quite remember.
Okay, James, am I stupid? Or did they like scrub SCG Baltimore off of the face of the fucking earth? Because I can't find it.
They might have, because I know
I'm literally on MTG Top 8.
they might just have archived it, but I don't know. It should go back a ways, but yeah, I don't remember.
I literally am looking into the 2016 deck lists and events
Anyways,
from that time.
I don't know.
But I felt like a little kid going against a big brother.
Yeah, I
Or
felt
something to that effect.
yeah, I definitely know performance anxiety was a thing that day. I should have just went with Red Green Tron. I shouldn't have done that because I know I had a big problem back then of going with the latest and greatest thing that was coming out. Because I
The new
know,
hottest, yeah.
yeah, because I remember I went to not quite a regional thing, but it was like a store championship kind of deal. I think
Oh, okay.
2018 or so. I went because it was like a Saturday
Yeah.
kind of deal early in the morning. And I
Okay,
remember
okay.
I went with the Unstable Mutation Bogles deck, and I shouldn't have
Oh
played.
yeah.
And I shouldn't have played that. I should have just played Tron.
Again.
Yeah,
But I remember that, and then I remember we drove all the way to fucking Hartford
that was
for the next
2018.
big one.
Yep, me, you, and a couple of buddies. Yeah,
It
that
was
was
neat.
neat. I looked it up recently. just to see who was in the top 16 for that event.
I know
And
Bogles was the hotness at the time, along with KCI. I think was starting to show up too.
Matt Nass won the event with KCI.
I always remember that day because of 3 games. The first one being Bogles,
Hmm.
because I was expecting to play Bogles at some point during that day. I wasn't expecting it to be my first matchup.
Hmm.
Then my second memorable matchup was against Cheerios.
Yeah.
Need I say more?
Yep.
Cheerios did the Cheerios thing.
I forget, what did you play that weekend?
Abzan.
Ah, that's right.
Because I was stubborn and I thought I could do it.
You were stubborn and you thought Siege Rhino could be your savior.
I mean, yeah, because
I didn't
Siege
blame
Rhino
you.
was good.
I didn't blame you.
Siege Rhino was good, damn it.
It was.
And then I lost to that. I lost to Cheerios, and then I remember. Oh God, I remember the other one that was really bad. But then I also my last matchup I remember was, oh boy, Jund.
Oof. I don't
Uh,
remember a lot of my interactions. I just remember it was a Grixis Death Shadow player, and
yeah,
they turn one Mishra's bobbled me, and I didn't know about Mishra's bobble, so I
yeah,
just revealed it for both of us, and I didn't know about the wording of Mishra's bobble, so I got
yeah.
the judge call on me. I was so freaking nervous because it was a GP. I'm like, ugh!
Whoopsie doopsie.
3-5 was my record. I remember.
I'm like 99% sure I was also 3-5.
Nope.
I could be remembering wrong, but I remember it was roughly 3-5.
I don't remember Baltimore. I remember Hartford. 3-5.
Hartford for the 3-5, baby. Let's go.
I don't remember much else until SCG Con, because that was the very first SCG Con.
Yeah, you went for Legacy. I did Unbanned Modern.
Oh yeah, that's right. You did Unbanned Elves.
Yep.
I forgot.
also
How'd you do?
remember- No, I didn't do Elves. I did Delver.
Oh, that's right. You did do Delver. I remember you had Elves just in case.
I
'Cause that
had
was for the
Elves just in
Sunday.
case. I had that for the Sunday event. I had Unbanned Delver. I did not do well with Unbanned Delver because I did not prepare Unbanned Delver too good.
Yeah. I know I didn't do good with Mono Red Prison for the Legacy event.
You tried.
I tried. I did not do good. Because
I
we were
remember that.
still newbies to Legacy at that point.
Yeah, SCG Con was 6 years ago with Unbanned Delver.
I still at least gotta say, thank God I paid the extra for the VIP pass.
Oh, I'm
Because
sure that was nice.
it was nice because I was also able to go get you a couple of different drinks too to be able to
Oh, I
stay
needed those
awake.
because I was also still battling unemployment at the time.
Yeah.
Should I have gone to SCG Con? No. Did I? Yes.
It was fun.
It was fun. So yeah, it was Baltimore, Hartford,
Yep.
SCG Con, Pittsburgh, Columbus.
Mm-hmm. I
Those
feel
are
like there
our-
might be something else that I'm missing, but I can't recall.
I know you did like 2 regional qualifiers or invitational qualifiers.
Oh, that's right. I think that's what I had went to and played the unstable Bogles for that
You
one
did
thing.
that one, and then I remember you did another one. I think you tried Bogles again because it was still popular.
I know, looking back on things, the big problem for me was not just sticking to the deck that I knew the
Yeah.
best, and I know that's where a lot of my downfalls and shortcomings as a player came from, was trying to do the thing.
I mean, I remember you and I were very stubborn with a lot of our deck building decisions, and even nowadays we still are.
Yeah.
And like you live and you grow as a human. You also live and you grow as a Magic player. Do I regret some of the decisions I made as a deck builder? Yes.
Same.
Do I regret them for the fact that I lost? No, because losing is still a learning experience and being like, okay, here's what I'm good at, here's what I'm bad at.
Yep.
And you got to take the bad with the good and the good with the bad, and you go from there and learn.
Yeah.
I have gone from like 2 or 3 commander decks. I had at least 15 at the time, and now I'm slowly dwindling down on my collection of commander decks. And I can say with absolute certainty, it pays to be very simple on things. Because my new favorite commander deck as of right now is Imidane, the Pyro Hammer.
Yeah, that's a pretty sweet deck.
It is. I get to play Burn in Commander. I am a happy man. I'm annoyed about the fact that even now, like, I don't play Modern as much anymore, if at all.
Mm-hmm.
I play plenty of Commander,
Mm-hmm.
but now my mind has turned a corner
Mm-hmm.
in how I look at different cards. I used to look at a card and just be like, "Oh, neat." Then when I started playing Modern more, I'm like, "Oh, that's going to be good in Modern," or "Oh, that's going to be bad in Modern." And now whenever I see new cards, my brain immediately goes, "Oh, that's going to be great in Commander," or "Oh, hey, that card has a chance in Commander." Because there's no, to me personally, I still think every card has a chance in Commander.
Mm-hmm.
But there are absolutely some cards you should not play in Commander
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah. My big problem is because of how much time and memories I've made and everything and how much money I've invested into Modern, I
Too
miss
much.
I miss Modern. But
You too.
I can't really adequately play it, and so I have to focus on Commander, but I don't really want to focus too hard on Commander. But that's all people play nowadays. And it's like, okay, where's a give and take on things? You know, Magic was built on the 60 card format,
Yeah.
but this social format has completely taken over the game. And it's like, where's a fine middle ground for everything?
Just someone in the back corner is just like, tiny leaders. It's like, no.
I miss Tiny Leaders. That was fun.
I mean, it's a fun deck building challenge for sure, but like,
Yeah.
you're very limited on what you can and can't use.
Then there's Pauper Commander.
I've heard good things about Pauper Commander from what you and others have told me.
Yeah, I've brewed a couple of decks for Pauper Commander. The most recent one was Invisible Stalker Voltron because duh. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean it's another deck building restriction. I just miss 60 card formats. Like I thoroughly enjoyed going 0 and 3 playing Pauper.
I miss the good old 04 milkshake.
Yep.
To quote Loading Ready Run, I miss the 04 milkshake.
Yep.
Or in our case, the 04 sheets run.
Or Waffle House run too.
Oh, yeah, or the whatever was open at the time, like a diner or something, yeah.
Yeah.
Because, like, those days, I miss those days where we'd have the group of friends,
Mhm.
we'd meet up for Modern, play Modern, and then we'd all go out and play at a diner and we'd play Commander.
Mhm.
That was fun.
Yeah. I also remember vividly when we started building Legacy and went
Oh, God, yeah.
and we immediately were like, let's build Reanimator. And we thought it was going to be some Rock'em Sock'em Robots thing. And we are just like, that's
This
not
is the
like that
worst.
at all.
We're like, this is the worst.
Yeah.
Why did we do this?
Yeah.
Why did we do this?
Yeah.
I remember that. Me and you really thought it was just going to be, oh, yeah, we're throwing big shit at each other.
No.
It became a grudge match of we were about to throw the table at each other.
Yeah, I remember. We're
And
like,
then-
why did we subject ourselves to this crap?
But individually, though, both, like, Reanimator's a fun deck to play. Like, we don't have as much of a care about, like, what we play or how we play. It's
Yeah.
just, we're here to have fun and we're here to do the thing. But I remember a video, I could send it to you, but I remember there was this video I saw the other day of the evolution of not just being a Commander player, but as a Magic player. But I know it was definitely evolution of a Commander player, but I personally take this as a thing for everyone.
Who made it?
It was EDA Trick. I just sent the link.
Okay. Because I think I was either Shaft, aka that mill guy, or Trinket Mage did something kind of similar.
Trinket Mage did something similar, yeah, where I know that we all go through this phase as players, and in my case, my phases are currently it's you start by just being in awe and wonder of everything, like you're on a roller coaster or you're
Yeah.
at a theme park. Like I want to play that, I want to play that, I want to play that, I want to
Yeah.
build three of those,
Yep.
and you go from there, and you start to get yourself into a more focused and like tunnel vision box of like what to do,
Yeah.
and you do the thing.
Yep.
It doesn't matter what you're doing the thing. And then you get really focused on what your decks do, and then you start to tinker and tune them any chance you get so they run perfectly. And then you eventually realize, hey, I try hard and too hard. Let's back it up a few steps.
I can definitely say the whole try-hardy aspect. I know I really went through a lot, and I know the story that we both kind of know of is when you built owls as a deck.
No, say it right. I built Strixes.
You built Strixes, and I just
And you beat me into a depression.
yeah, because I played Tron and would not stop playing Tron, even though you asked me to stop.
You nicely.
I know you did, and I
Please stop playing, and you're like, no, I need more practice. I'm like,
this is
"Okay."
bad practice.
Yeah.
I remember.
What are you in the practice of? Pub stomping?
Yeah, at that point, yes. But that story,
Jesus Christ.
and a couple others, or a couple other experiences, I know definitely helped shape me better as a player and taught me, hey, stop being so try-hardy. Because at some point in Juncture, I just remember a couple of our acquaintances or friends in the group in college were like, hey, James, can you knock it off and like
Yeah.
do something else? I'm like,
I mean,
oh shit, I need to stop.
well, it was equally, and I love and respect you for this because you're stubborn and I'm stubborn too.
Mhm.
But the thing for me was you either got into the hyper focused competitive scene really, really hardcore,
Yep.
or you did the dumbest shit ever.
Yes.
And there was no in between.
There was not.
And
I couldn't find it.
And whenever we would try and give you advice to help you in either direction, you wouldn't take it
Nope.
until we sat you down and were like,
Stop.
there was no in between.
Yep.
And I'm kind of finding myself going through something similar with our friend group
Mm-hmm.
where I have those hyper competitive urges kind of coming back again,
Yeah.
and I don't like it. And so, like, I'm trying to get myself out of it, but it's hard.
Yeah.
Magic player where you're used to doing a certain thing for so long, and you're just like, I just want to do the dumb thing. It's like, okay, cool, and you become known as doing the dumb thing for being really good at doing the dumb thing. And then you're like, okay, what do I do now? Do another dumb thing.
Something I want to say, and trying to kind of steer things back a little bit, is I definitely know one of the big things for Magic for me is obviously A, making memories, and B, having fun.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah.
C, it's just to try and help calm oneself when you're in a stressful environment or a different situation than you're used to. And I think nothing else really spoke to that more than going to Columbus with you and a couple of other friends.
Mhm.
And this was especially after I moved, because I was in a new state, a new apartment, my very first apartment, and a new job and everything. I didn't know anybody. And
Yeah.
so it was like a way to really just reconnect and bring things back home for a couple of days
Yeah.
and just, have some semblance of togetherness again after a couple of rough weeks of, okay, I have to move within a weekend, find an apartment within a week,
Mhm.
and there was a lot of growing that I had to do in that time span,
Mhm.
especially when we found the apartment and when I got moved. It was like, that was a lot all at once, and my brain really didn't process it well. because
Yeah.
it seemed like the processing was on a delay, because it seemed like it was just so much overload at once that it didn't really know what to do, or didn't know how to adequately handle it. And so getting adjusted to everything and figuring things out kind of came along with one last hurrah real fast before a lot of us go and do adult stuff, is go play Magic together again. I just remember, I think it was after the fourth round and we lost. We are like, all right, we're not going to really be able to get to day two at all. So we just all cut
No.
our losses and just went to drive around to various different shops, because I know Austin had to find some cards for an event, and all the vendors at the Columbus
Oh yeah, we all had to pile into the fucking Uber,
Uber, yeah.
and I was in the back.
Yeah, we took turns riding in
Oh
the
my
trunk.
God. You have to find the picture I think Avery took of us all. That was so
Yeah.
funny, and I'm just way in the back, just
Yeah, I
please
remember.
find that. That was so funny. It's just like, okay, I guess I'm getting in the back.
Yep. We were all just like, so who wants the trunk? And me and you were the skinniest out of all of us.
I mean, yeah. I remember we also played a lot of Commander.
I remember
We
before
made-
that, we went to Mikey's Late Night Slice.
Oh yeah.
I remember
God, I missed that. That was some good pizza.
that was
I'm kind of mad I didn't get a shirt or something.
Commander.
And
And then the fucking fire
Commander,
alarm got
yeah.
pulled.
Oh yeah, that fire alarm in the hotel, and so a bunch of us killed time
Yeah.
by like talking with all the other Magic players. And then when we went back in, we wound up playing more Magic.
I think we wound up with more people in our hotel room after the fire alarm.
Well, yeah, because we were like bored.
Yeah. I remember when we were leaving for the next morning, because I know
Yeah.
Avery and I were going to do the Pioneer. Actually, no, Avery went to do the Modern 2K. I went to do the very first Pioneer event. I remember we were almost late because Avery's dipstick for his oil oil gauge
Yeah,
fell in the
his oil
engine
gauge
bay.
yeah, it fell in the bay. It was he had that go on, and he had I think something else happened with his car.
No, I think that was the primary issue. He had one thing. He was checking his oil, and the dipstick
Yeah.
fell into the engine block, and we're like, shit. So we called
'Cause
Triple.
it didn't fall through, and then we tried to get the guy in the gas station to help, like jury rig like a coat hanger or something to get it out, and we couldn't get it. So
Yeah,
had
So-
to risk the call to AAA and just be like, hey.
yeah. But then I think one of us had the idea. There was like a car lot across the street. I think Avery went over and was like, hey, could someone help? Because they had a garage that
Yeah.
was open. The car lot itself wasn't,
Yeah.
but the garage was. It was like, hey, could someone help?
Like you got like a magnet
Or
and some-
something. But kind of back to what I was getting at with the point of the last hurrah, and also just like trying to help have a semblance of normalcy in a changing
yeah.
environment. That weekend definitely made a lot of memories for me, and it's stuff that'll stick with me. And
Oh yeah.
like I said, it just really helped ease my brain into forgetting about everything else that was going on in my life at the time. And
Oh, yeah.
so I think the bigger thing for me after that event, outside of COVID, was just trying to figure out ways to go play again
Yeah.
during 2020 into 2021. And I was
Yeah.
able to, and go play and just have fun and get to know the local shops and everything like that.
To circle back on the comment that you had made about you needing some sense of normalcy in your life, it really is one of those things of when you're spiraling out of control because there's a lot of things going on that are happening very, very quickly. You need some rock in your life to hold and to be like, hey, this is familiar. I know this. This is helping me calm down and maintain my focus. And for you,
Yep.
I definitely would say Magic kind of helped recenter you back into focus on things. And
It did.
It to me, it also helped reinvigorate my passion for the game and help me also calm down when I was in times of stress also, because you have to remember I was on nights at the time.
Yep.
So I also couldn't play Magic as often.
Yep.
And so I also kind of had a last hurrah when we went to Columbus. And
Yeah.
that was also like my last semblance of things going on before shit hit the fan and I kind of had to refigure everything going on in life, and that was before I also moved.
Mm-hmm.
And I also was going through a lot of different jobs and a lot of different things that were going on, and we both had this one thing that we can say, this is mine.
Yeah.
This is my rock. This is my comfort thing. This is my time to be with myself and to find my focus and my inner peace on things. It's one of those things where you don't really think of how impactful something like this little hobby could be.
Yeah.
But God damn, is it impactful.
Yeah.
Because we have made so many friends, we've had so many memories,
Yeah.
spent way too much money. Frankly, I wouldn't change it for the fucking world.
Same.
Because I just love this game so damn much. And to say this also, because I've been seeing this more prevalently at my new job now. I have had so many people walk by while we're playing a game of Commander, while we're killing time at work. And so many people that are like in their 50s, 60s, and 40s that just like look over and they're like, they're still making Magic? I'm like, yep. And they're like, what the fuck? I remember when that was like new. And I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's still here.
Oh yeah, 30 years later.
Oh yeah, like I still hear people say that though,
Mm-hmm.
where they're like genuinely surprised.
Yeah.
But then like seeing that like split second of them also kind of reverting back to that like youthful wonder of just like, oh my God, like here's this thing that I had so much fun with
Yeah.
and I missed that.
Mm-hmm.
Like seeing that come out in so many different people is so amazing to see, and
Yeah.
it's so fun to see so many different people from so many different walks of life and so many different cultures
Mm-hmm.
all come together and enjoy this nerdy hobby over some pieces of cardboard.
I know I said this earlier in
Hmm?
some respects. The reason why I made the rant video for being done and also the super volcano of bullshit that I spewed out the last time, it's
Mm.
just because of how much I care. And I understand people have those periods of
Yeah.
retiring from the game or
Yep.
just taking a step back and saying, I need to, nah. But it's
Oh, yeah.
like, but the reason why I really can't is just because of how much I care and how much this game means to me. Now, am I paid for any of this crap? No. Do I
No.
do good at it? No. But it's fun. It means a lot. And I'm just not happy with how the game has been being made or how it's been evolving. It seems like it's devolving in some respects. And I don't necessarily, there's no one focal point to blame in a lot of regards to it. But
Oh, I
it's
get it.
just, I think the big thing is me needing to refocus on what's important for me in this game, as well as
Yeah.
also trying to reestablish what I want to get out of this game again.
Right.
And I know I've had
Like,
to do a little bit of introspection again. And so I know I have some for fun modern decks that are just dirtle turtles, like Zombie Hunt.
Treasure Hunt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't play as competitively as I used to, but I still like to keep up on things.
But I just want to say, to kind of piggyback off of your statement though, we're passionate about this game because we care.
Yeah.
We care and we're passionate about it
Mhm.
because we love this so much. We wouldn't be so passionate if we didn't care so damn much.
Yeah. And it's I know again with like paying attention to the competitive scene with everything, even though I don't play it, it's like, that's why I have Mill as I do and just some other fun little things here and there. But then it's like once I go into Commander, it's like it's like I like brewing as a mental exercise and train my brain. Yeah, but I'm not actively gonna go and make all of these decks. I like to keep a
Me,
small
money.
sample.
Yeah. Like me and what money?
My big thing is play what you want to play how you want to play. And just as long as I don't become too much of that same try hard I used to be again.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the thing, is take the lessons I learned, apply them to playing the game again, and just
Yeah.
go and have fun.
And do that again. And sometimes it's a little hard to do that because we're stuck in our own ways and we need someone to call us out on our bullshit and hold us accountable for our actions and things and just be like, hey, take it down a notch.
Yeah.
You know? I always remember you and I having this conversation when we first started playing Legacy. And you and I had that moment where we were talking and you had played Omniscience and you looked at the flavor text.
Yep.
And we both kind of said, one, damn, that goes hard. But two, how the fuck did we get here?
Honestly, yeah. I know I kind of felt the excitement and nerves of when I finally held dual lands for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
That
Oh,
was,
yeah.
yeah.
Like even now,
Mm-hmm.
because I still have one of my first dual lands that I bought.
Mm-hmm.
Scrubland.
Mm-hmm.
I still have it from when I bought it. And like I still have that same feeling of just looking at this thing that's as old as we are
Mm-hmm.
and just being like, damn.
Yeah.
And I always remember the quote from Omniscience being, the things I once imagined would be my greatest achievements were only the first steps towards a future I can only begin to fathom.
Mm-hmm.
Like, one, holy shit. That goes hard.
Yeah.
But two, it really does ring true
Mm-hmm.
about like how we discover things as Magic players and what we think is like the pinnacle of what we want to do and what we want to achieve, and then we're only like, oh fuck, this is the beginning.
Yep, I just
This is
scratched the
something new.
surface.
This is something new.
Yep.
It's like it's the same like when you first get into Magic.
Mhm.
2, when you first get into your first constructed formats.
Mm-hmm.
3, when you discover Commander.
Yep.
4, when you build more than one Commander deck.
Or 5, when you
Not or and 5.
and when you finally can reach a point in juncture in your life where you can afford cards that you didn't think otherwise possible, whether it's through
Yeah.
trading or working your ass off to get to a point in juncture. Because I know,
Yeah.
luckily for us, at that point when we were getting into Legacy pretty hard, I know we were working our asses off and trying to
Yeah.
get everything to align to get what we needed or wanted for the decks that we had, or try and make them as optimized as possible. And I know at first when I had Show and Tell in
Mhm.
Legacy, I just went and got the Steam Vents. And I'm
Yeah.
like, cool. But then some of the other Legacy players at the shop were like, hey, that's neat, especially since you can afford it. Hopefully at some point you can get Volcanic Islands and actually truly understand the big differences between Steam Vents and Volcanic Islands.
Oh yeah, I agree. Like for me, we have learned so many lessons from so many different people in so many different player bases, but I will say,
Mm-hmm.
Legacy players, honestly, some of the nicest people I've ever met because they just want to play with their cards that they've held on to or have purchased
Mm-hmm.
for so long, and they just want to play them.
Yeah.
And just people have that shared passion for it. Like I always
Mhm.
remember this, is there was that one girl that used to play Merfolk every week.
Amara, I think was her name.
Yeah, but she played Merfolk every week without any qualms, without anything. She was just like, I'm just happy to be here and I'm happy to play with my Merfolk.
Yep.
And at that time, I was like, you know what?
I needed to hear that.
I needed that because at the same time, I was also going through some stuff, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm just happy to be here playing.
I know before I really got invested for Reanimator and other stuff, I know I tried to make Legacy Mill work and just
You did.
and just enjoy the ride of getting my ass kicked for it. but it taught me a lot of valuable lessons in Legacy as well as in life in regards to remembering the joys of the simple times or just simply playing a deck because you want to play it. And, you might try and find some interaction that you don't necessarily know if it'll work or not, or if you find something surprising, like with me, with Mill, I shoved Painter Grindstone combo in Leyline of the Void and Rest in Peace along with Energy Field,
Mm-hmm.
which was a very big shock. And,
Oh yeah.
there was some simple pleasures in enjoying discoveries like that.
Oh yeah. It's
Oh.
like
And then I was actually also surprised, sorry to cut you off again, when that same player, the Merfolk player,
the Merfolk. Yeah.
I was very surprised at one point in juncture when she played another deck. I just remember it was a different deck, and I'm like, this is a surprise. I'm gonna enjoy the ride.
Oh yeah. It's like when I first built Legacy Elves.
Mhm.
I really loved elves. I still love elves.
Mhm.
But like there was something about the legacy version that was so captivating. It was like solving a puzzle
Yep.
every game.
Yep.
It wasn't just okay, play an elf, swing, play an elf, swing, play an elf, swing. It was okay, I play an elf, pass turn, play another elf, have this complicated interaction on the board state that I gotta solve.
Mhm.
Because I always remember the one time that I took like a 15-minute turn just organizing my board state and trying to see what I had for mana, see what I can do in regards to getting out of a situation regarding a board state that was locking me down.
Mhm.
And then also on top of that, being able to just swing
Mhm.
with a big damage. That made me feel like I was the smartest man in the room for like 5 seconds, even though I was playing mono green elves.
Yeah.
Now I'm just like, I felt like a genius in those 5 minutes.
Yeah. Especially
I'm just
handling
like,
difficult
holy shit.
interactions like that too. Yeah.
I've learned I love those sorts of things.
Mhm.
And there's certain joys about that that I can only get in Legacy. Because honestly, Commander gets way too complicated in some regards. Commander, honestly, like Imidane has been like the most fun I've had in a Commander game in a long time.
Mhm.
I dealt like close to 180 damage
Holy shit.
because of this sounds like very small by comparison with a lot of games that I've heard about.
Mhm.
But being able to deal like 180 damage just because of an accidental board state win of okay, it's one of those things of like you just accidentally win out
Yeah.
of nowhere. Because I had Imidane, I had Fiery Emancipation on the field.
Mhm.
I had Stone Splitter Bolt in hand, Imidane on the field, Fiery Emancipation on the field. I cast the Stone Splitter Bolt for 8. And what it says is if it's bargained, because I bargained it, because I had an artifact on the field, I bargained the artifact,
Mhm.
dealt twice that damage. So
Damn.
8 times 2 is 16. What's
Okay.
16 times 3? 48.
48. Yeah.
Okay, so 48. Now, James,
Yeah.
what's 48 times 3?
154.
144.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so 144 points of damage, roughly,
Mhm.
from just 3 cards. That was the most fun interaction in a game that I've ever had in a long time. Like, those sorts of interactions that I didn't expect, I live for those sorts of things still, where I'm just like, oh shit, I didn't know this thing could do that. It's those things that I live for to discover a new thing with what your deck can do. Like, yeah, I know Imidane can deal big damage, but guess what? Imidane's like a megaphone for the damage. Those sorts of things are what I still live for with Commander. I'm chasing the dragon and I'm chasing the high. The problem is I want more of those sorts of things. To leave with some parting words of it, I will say I don't care. Well, I do care, but I don't care what happens into the future of Magic. I just still want to be able to play Magic,
Yeah.
and I want to be able to have fun because this is so much fun to me, and it feels like initially it's one of those things of like we start playing Magic together because we're the only friends we have. Then we play, and we gain more friends through playing Magic, and then you realize we're all Magic players.
Yep.
We're all friends because we share one common game and one common goal. We gather, we play Magic, we have fun. And that's all I still want to do. I have other
Same.
hobbies, I have other interests, and I have other things going on in life.
Hmm.
But I will always have Magic.
Through hell or
And
high water, we'll always have Magic.
from come hell or high water, we'll always have Magic. And honestly, that's how that's how it is, and that I wouldn't want it any other way. Where we have Magic, I'm happy. I would say that's a pretty good way to end this off.
And it really just showcases why we care so much, too. This was fun. I definitely appreciate doing this again. Hopefully
Oh
we can
yeah,
do this more down the line.
hopefully more consistently, especially with how things in life are going. But it's whatever.
Peace.
Bye everyone.